I would have never known if I had not seen it from my own eyes. The awful dream catcher. Not the things we hang in our windows. Those awful summer camp crafts projects of sticks and ropes and feathers and such. No. This dream catcher whom nobody has dared to see, imagine, or come to understand. To call it a person would be an insult to all things real. Then again, it is as real as the people it claims. More so, children. You see, I had lost my child many years ago, lost in true sense, to the unknown. He played in the woods behind our cabin in the Royal Hills of Maine, a place remote we typically went months during the winter. Sheltered in her modest log cabin, living off the earnings we had saved throughout the summer on rations and supplies we stocked in the fall. It happened one cold and crisp autumn day. One of the last few days when a child his age could go out and play before the winter confined us. He begged me to go outside, knowing once winter sank his teeth into the air, he would have little or no chance to run and play. Understanding this, I allowed it. As we worried not of strangers, as there were none to worry about. I was preparing some of the food we needed to preserve for the upcoming solitude as he exited the house for the last time. After an hour or so, I failed to hear the distant sounds of childlike imagination being brought to life through sticks, swords, and tree monsters. I looked out the window and saw nothing. My son, no stranger to wandering off, promoted me to grab my coat and go in search. After about 5 minutes of calling his name, Charlie, 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 I began to panic. 3 weeks, 5 police searches, and 2 helicopter flyovers. Later, the storm hit. Charlie was lost, and all efforts to search were called off. I was alone. I had nothing to comfort my thoughts but the chance that somehow, some way, he was still alive. Out there, somewhere, there was a chance. A chance that, like a candle in a hurricane, then dreams began. At first, they woke me, blurry visions of being half awake, not so much sight but the sounds, Charlie calling for me, Daddy! Daddy! Only to come to my senses and plunge back into that despair. More than once, I thought of ending it all, but that fucking candle would not go out. I could only think of the worst fate than the loss of my son. That would leave this world only to have him return. I could not let that happen. I had to know. After a few weeks, the dreams became more and more lucid. I could see Charlie, but not how I remembered. He was almost like a ghost, transparent, but unlike a ghost, all gray and muted. He was golden, almost like holding a light bulb through a piece of parchment. He called for me. Daddy, Daddy, I'm here. I'm here with the dream catcher. I know. Had a new tormentor, my own mind. It was now March. The weather finally broke, and the entire winter of merciless wind and snow had finally ended. Piled high, well above the edges of the roof, was a reminder of the worst winter anyone can recall. I needed to get out. Months of dreaming and pacing and planning. What would I do? Where would I go? Nobody to calm my already shaken nerves, nothing to keep me grounded. Was I mad? Perhaps. But would it stop me from trying? I packed all I could carry, knowing I would find my boy. In any state, or die trying. The first few days, trek carried me deep into the forest. I spent a good week, or at least that's what it seemed like. wandering farther and farther into the unknown. I had no sense of direction or any care for it anyway. After all, I was searching for something that had no location. Each gust of wind brought me a new direction. I thought I could hear a faint whisper of, "Daddy, Daddy, I'm here, I'm here." Was it real? Or was it just a cruel residue of my dreams? At this point, I didn't care. I had nothing else to lose. When I saw it, or more so, him, my son, not the boy I had known growing up all those years, running and playing and full of life. No, this, what was left, hung between two trees by hands and feet, was the skin of my child, old, taut and hardened by cold, blustery winter. As I approached the sunstone from behind, creating the warmest glow I'd ever seen, fiery cold piercing through the holes of that at one time were his eyes and nose and even mouth. I stumbled, devoid of energy to face him. As I wept, knowing he was gone, and in the cruelest way, a gentle breeze blew from the direction of the sun behind him. His hide softened and blowed in the breeze, filling each empty cell with warm. The wind whispered through his mouth, "Daddy, I'm here. I'm here with the dream catcher."